Hi, I'm Janice Switlo. One of my recent conversations with an elder, um, we got to the discussion of greed, and it reminded me of something that Martin Luther had said. And he said that, I'm a preacher. I have to have teeth in my mouth. I have to bite and salt and tell them the truth. And a further quote, whoever wants to do his duty and perform his office faithfully must retain the freedom to tell the truth fearlessly, regardless of other people. He must denounce anyone that needs to be denounced, great or small, rich or poor, or powerful, friend or foe. Greed refuses to do this, for it is afraid that if it offends the bigwigs or its good friends, it will be unable to find bread. So greed puts its whistle into its pocket and keeps quiet. Now, this elder was describing to me his experience attending, various meetings, including tree think tank meetings. And he said, everyone's walking in there with briefcases and selling their papers, and none of them know who they are or even what they have, and they cannot protect. And it's I've heard another elder say, for instance, purported elder, not what I would consider a real elder, I don't want to be poor like my father was. So that person's actions tends to follow the money. And rather than listening to learn and apply, it's rather to find the opportunity, to conduct a new set of workshops or something of that nature. Now, real elders that I've seen, they're not power hungry. The ones that have taught me, they're not power hungry. They've had to make huge sacrifices. And my discussion with this particular elder was bringing that up, the kinds of sacrifices that are necessary to do the work that's needed to protect the children, the land for the children. And the ones I met, they were covered in scars. They had ragged hats, old clothes. They weren't dressed like Perry or Willie. And they weren't off to the Cayman Islands to check their accounts. I'm not saying Perry and Willie are doing that, but I just know of others that like to travel there. Let's put it that way. I was shown, a lot of people question, my ability to share knowledge because of, how I look. And the fact remains that I know who you are, even when some of you don't know who you are. And that's because I was shown, and I continue to see who you are. And I don't believe anything that's told me. I research it, I check it out. I satisfy myself, and I've been doing this for decades now, that yes, you're still here. Yes, this is what you have. This is what you're trying to protect. And your demands are fair and reasonable. And the Crown is bound to address those properly. And the fact that her Canadian governments are failing to do that means they're acting as an outlaw nation, and how wrong that is for all Canadians. And it really is important to point out that it's in the process that the strategy, the effort will come together. It's not about picking which paper is the best, which person, as this elder's describing, carrying in this briefcase and flogging, do this, sign this, hire me to fill in the blanks for you. There's some been doing the same dog and pony show for a couple of decades, and it's all federally flogged initiative work. And now it's the framework process. It's just another example of the very same effort. It's about first, understanding who you are, getting together to discuss who you are, coming together in your circles to discuss some of the points that I'm making. For example, what does this mean when this word is used? Should we follow this blindly, or should we start to investigate ourselves? And yes, we are fully human. Yes, we are intelligent. Yes, we are worthy. And we were entrusted with this. Our ancestors left this for us. The Creator provided for us in the beginning. This is ours. This is ours, and we're entitled to benefit from it and entitled to protect it so that our next generations will also benefit. You need to come into that circle. You need to come in a good way, from a good perspective, and start to heal and start to work together. And only through the process will the solutions start to present themselves. Because you first need to be able to receive the guidance and work together in your laws, in your ways. This Western concept of these persons say this person's the best, they're the best expert, therefore we'll just do what they tell us to do. That's part of the problem. So until such time as the process is better perfected, in casting off this concept of if someone is said to be knowledgeable, then I guess they are and I have to just trust that. No, satisfy yourself. Bring them in the circle. Hear what they have to say. Consider what they have to say, but also consider others. And some of the input to your circles may be from outside of your usual circles, because such is the times. Such is the need for independent advice that you can rely on, that's not linked to greed, that's there from the heart, not for greed purposes. And it's going to be very hard to distinguish between, at least at the beginning, as to who is there for good reasons and from a good place. If money is the focus, it's not going to get you anywhere, because ancestors didn't do what they did so that you would leave money for your next generations. The money doesn't last. The land does. The resources do. They will provide. That's the system. That's why you've been here and continue to be here for thousands of years. Thank you for your time.